So in general, how is the Palestinian struggle portrayed in the US media?
Well, for the most part, I think people see Palestinians, as is portrayed by the media, as terrorists. They don't understand what's happening to the Palestinian people. I think the Western media, the white media, and a lot of houses, the legislative houses, whether it's Congress or state legislative or city councils, they always see it as Palestinians are terrorists and Israel are retaliating against terrorism. And that's how it's portrayed. That's why I want to be as outspoken as I can on this because it's consistent with our struggle for human rights. Whether it was the Vietnamese people fighting for their freedom in the 60s, or whether it's the Iraqi people fighting for their freedom, or the Afghani people fighting for their freedom, we have to consistently say no to oppression, no to capitalism, no to globalization, no to imperialism, no matter what form it takes. So I think it's important for people to see the human face of Palestine, to be able to see that their families are just like our families, that they love their children, and they just want to go to school. They don't want no wall built up around them. Can you imagine living in a place and you was accustomed to going across the street to go to school and open up your business, and then all of a sudden a wall comes up and you got to go 200 miles down to a checkpoint and then come right back on the other side of the wall if you get through the checkpoint to open up your business, and what that does to life. You know, even Jimmy Carter, who ain't one of my favorites, but he wrote a book, Palestine, Peace, Not Apartheid. And they hate him for that. But even in his book, he was saying that they need to tear the wall down and they need to bring peace to the Middle East. So I think people more and more, if we keep on doing this is the value of what you're doing with this recording and with other things, whether these convoys and people speaking up, inevitably we're going to win. It's painful. It's a lot of suffering, a lot of death and destruction, but righteousness, rightness is going to win inevitably. And people need to understand that. The mighty, Israel and America and imperialism and capitalism is not invincible. It is not forever. It's temporary. And I think it's hard to see the temporariness of it because it seems so powerful, it seems so invincible. But I mean, I'm sure when we were enslaved and Harriet Tubman said, "Come on, let's get up and get on out of slavery," people thought she was out of her mind and told her that you shouldn't try to run because you're going to die. But she freed over 400 enslaved Africans, went back 19 times in the Underground Railroad to free people, and slavery, as we see it then, no longer exists. But I'm sure there were people at the time said, slave master's always going to be in place. He got the power, he got the land. We can't win. Well, that's gone. I'm sure some people thought Jim Crowism was going to be forever, that we would be on the back of the bus forever, that we would be at separate water fountains forever. Still segregation, still racism institutionalized, but it's gone. Some people thought apartheid was forever, but Mandela went from the prison to the presidency. We are going to win. It's inevitable that we're going to win. We just got to go through this painful process and keep the faith and keep struggling and keep moving forward. And I think we're going to be victorious.